I'm Itai from Dynamic, and what I want to go through is kind of how to get started with Dynamic. So let's get through the basics. So first, a little bit about me. I'm co-founder, CEO of the company. What is Dynamic? Just so everyone's on the same page. Think about us as the crypto-enabled stack. So everything you need in order to kind of build these magical experiences where crypto is either in the center or in the background, right? It's used today by a bunch of projects, Starkware and Magic Eden, Eclipse and Animoca, and Lamborghini and their Arena and Doodles all use Dynamic on their website. Just for context, in ETHGlobal Singapore, 7 of the 10 winning teams built with Dynamic. Now, correlation does not equal causation, but I am very bad at understanding which is which, so maybe it's good. Now, let's dive into it. So before I actually show this video, let's actually go through some examples of how you can use Dynamic or how Dynamic is used in the wild, and we'll dive in. So a couple of examples. So first, who has used Magic Eden before? No? Yeah? Oh my God, okay, fair enough. So for those that don't know, Magic Eden is today, I think, the highest volume NFT site in the world. This is Dynamic. So Dynamic is, on the one hand, a very fancy multi-chain wallet adapter that Magic Eden uses across Solana and Bitcoin and EVM and a bunch of chains. You can do really sophisticated things like connecting, handling, obviously switching networks, but also more sophisticated stuff, and you'll see this in a second, like connecting multiple wallets to the same account. So creating kind of unique, very advanced experiences for Web3 customers. On the other side of this is customers like Doodles. Who's heard of Doodles? No? Okay, fair enough. So Doodles uses Dynamic where you log in with an email or with Google, and essentially we generate a wallet in the background for you. So a customer coming into Doodles doesn't necessarily need to know they have a wallet. They just log in with email, and that's it. They can pretty much, at that point, interact with the site. So that's a different example. A third one is dFlow. So dFlow lets you kind of log in with an email address. Let's enter my email address. Let me grab a code. Let's do that. Let's grab a code. Okay, 68569. There we go. And at that point, I logged into the app, and I have a wallet here in the background. So if I now go and I say, look, let me actually buy some USDC with USDT, this is an example of using Dynamic in the wild. Let's buy. There's really no experience of a wallet here, right? It all kind of happens in the background. So this is another example of Dynamic. So Dynamic can be a very Web 2 experience where you don't see crypto anywhere. Right? So you can think about it as embedded wallets that kind of just work in the background. You can see it on gaming sites like XP. You can see it on bridges like Eclipse. This is a version of Dynamic. Or Legion, or if you've heard of Maple Finance, or Doodles, if you go to their marketplace and click Connect, that's powered by Dynamic. So you can see it all across these experiences. You can see it on Berachain as an example. All of these kind of are different versions of Dynamic. And so Dynamic is really 2 parts. It's an SDK that you can implement into your app, and it's a developer dashboard. So we'll start with, here's a Dynamic SDK, and as the name suggests, it's very dynamic. So you can do pretty much anything you want with it. So you can change colors, and you can change themes, and you can kind of, make it whatever version you want it to be. You can change corners, you can make it fully headless, anything your heart desires. Right? You can also, let's change it back to a little bit more saying, actually, let's keep it like this. You can say, look, I want only wallets, and I want them across multiple chains, right? Or I want the reverse. I don't want to talk about wallets at all. And I want to just have email and social login. And you can do it this way. You can add wallets, and you can collapse them. You can show them this way. Whatever your heart desires, you can pretty much do. It's a very, very flexible tool. Now, Dynamic lets you pretty much do one-click wallet generation. So I logged in, I generate a wallet, and at that point, I'm pretty much good to go. I have a wallet address. It can happen across EVM and Solana. You can do more fancy stuff like connecting multiple wallets to that same account. You can connect multiple login methods to the same account. So not just Google. If you're building a game, you can use Epic. Or if you're building something with music, you can use Spotify login. Pretty much anything you want to do. And it's non-custodial. So you can go here, export your key, and at that point, you're done. And you can take it and import it into MetaMask or Phantom or anything like that. So you can pretty much use Dynamic to abstract away complexity of crypto in your app. Does that make sense before I continue? Awesome. Okay, so we looked at the very basic stuff. You can do a lot more clever things on top of Dynamic. So you can start saying, look, I've generated a wallet for someone. Now let me connect it to Uniswap, right? So the wallet doesn't necessarily have to be siloed. So let's actually take an example. Let's go to Uniswap, right? Let's go to their app. Let's hit connect. I'll copy the wallet connect code. On mobile, by the way, this will, if you set up Dynamic on mobile, it'll show a QR code scanner, so you can just scan this QR code. I'm on desktop, so I'll just copy it here. And at that point, it'll kind of automatically detect it. Let me connect to Uniswap, and I can trade on Uniswap with my Dynamic embedded wallet. So it's not a silo wallet, but it's actually a global wallet. Again, if you set it up on your phone, it can add, just like a rainbow wallet or anything like that, you can scan and interact with sites. So it can expand pretty quickly beyond just kind of embedded wallets to embedded wallets that can interact with other sites. So as you're building this stuff, for instance, I think we had a presentation here before from Cow Protocol, you can spin up an embedded wallet and have it connect to the protocol and do a bunch of cool stuff. Now, we saw the basics. Let's start building actual things, right? So I set up a very simple Next.js app, and I created a login with Dynamic. Email only to start, just so you see what it looks like. So I set it up. I pretty much have I import Dynamic. I pretty much set up my environment ID. I set up a very simple page, and I'm pretty much done. Now, you know what? I don't want just email login. I want to do more stuff. So let's go to my developer dashboard, and let's start toggling things on. So I want wallet login. So let me save that. And I also want login with Google and login with GitHub. Right? So let me add that. Right? And let's refresh real quick just to see what that looks like. I have some hydration errors. Let's ignore those. All of a sudden, I have wallets, email login, social login. Right? So I don't have to make massive code changes. As soon as you implement Dynamic, you can go to our dashboard and start playing around with things. So you can start kind of turning Epic Games or Discord or Telegram login. You can start changing the way things are displayed. So let's collapse the wallets list, and let's save that real quick, and I'll refresh. And if I now log back in, you'll see wallet list is behind this button. So you can really quickly customize Dynamic to your use case with a single, again, I have not changed the code at all, right? I set up 5 lines of code, and at that point, I just toggle things on and off. Now, let's get fancier, right? So besides just authentication, when someone logs in, I want to collect their first name, and I want to collect their last name, and I want to create a custom field. So let's create a test custom field, and let's make sure it's unique. Let's make it optional, and I'll save it. And at that point, if I refresh, and if I log in with a user that hasn't logged in before, so let's do Itai plus test at Dynamic.xyz, right? And I'll send an OTP code to that. Let's grab the code, 1 second. Let me just grab my code. There we go. 495113. And at that point, Dynamic turns from just authentication. Oh, I might need to refresh. Bear with me I will need to do one more thing. Let's actually make it required. So I'll save this. I'll make this required as well. And I'll save these changes. And I'll log back out. And let's try this again. Bear with me for a second. Let's do this. So I'll enter a new user. Let's grab a code. Bear with me for a second here. Let me grab my code. I think this should... There we go. Okay, 737343. And at that point, Dynamic turned from just an authentication platform to information capture platform, right? So I can start not only logging in with kind of my user information, but I can start capturing additional information, whatever custom fields you want, right? And then you can set up webhooks, you can do a bunch of things. So we logged in, and at that point, we have a user, we have an address, we have the chain, and we're in a good spot. Now, this is just Ethereum. I prefer additional chains. So let's go here and let's kind of start toggling on additional chains. So let's toggle on Polygon and Optimism. And I saw Scroll is sponsoring, so let's toggle on Scroll. And I'll save this. And as soon as I refresh, essentially you'll see this. Let me just, I might need to log out and back in. No, I think I should be good. Now I have these chains. Right, so again, I did not touch any code so far beyond the first implementation of Dynamic. I kind of set it up once, and I can start toggling on a bunch of things. Let's say I want to toggle on an on-ramp. I can go to configurations. I can toggle that on. Let me quickly accept terms of service. I'll kind of toggle this on. And at that point, if I kind of refresh, Dynamic will all of a sudden kind of have an on-ramp component to it. So again, no changes, pretty much straightforward. You know what? I also want to be able to link additional wallets to the same account. So let me turn on multi-wallet. I'll toggle this on. And at that point, my profile will change to let me link things together. Now, we talked about auth, but let's start. I think we have time. So let's start doing some interesting stuff. So let's add the ability to sign a message. So for the first time, I'll actually go to code. I'll do the fancy cursor thing, where I just say, let's just try to implement a message. Bear with me for a second. Okay, so let's see if this works. So I'm actually going to use both ends. So bear with me for here. Add a sign message button using this code. Let's see what it does. So it added a sign message button. Let's accept. Let's save. Let's go back here. I'll refresh. I have the sign message button already. And at that point, I can sign a message. Right? So that was the entire extent of signing a message. I signed the message, and I'm pretty much done. Signing a message transaction took me a second, but I can take it a step further. So I want to sign a message, but I don't want that pop-up. So I don't like that pop-up. Let me just toggle that on, toggle that off. And on next signing of a message, it's just going to sign it. So, actually, I might need to log back out and back in. Bear with me for a second. Oh, yeah, okay, so no more pop-up. So signing a message now would just work headlessly. Right, so again, one toggle, one change, and pretty much done. Now, let's take it a step further. So we signed a message. Let me now turn on the ability to connect to other wallets, right? So the ability to just set up QR connection. So I NPM installed my global wallet already. And all I want to do is essentially import this, and let's take the cursor fancy AI approach, implement global connection. And let's see what it does. So I'll submit this, and it should import this. Bear with me for a second. I think, let's hope for the best. Let's refresh. Oh, hold on. Oh, no, this is not going to work. I'll do it the old-fashioned way of actually doing this. So let's import import Dynamic. I'll do this here. And I will also add, I should actually not do, I see. Okay, I did this in the wrong spot. So let me actually do this here, remove it, save, and instead give the same instructions here. Let's see what it does. We should be good. I'll manually do it. Bear with me for a second. I'll do this the old-fashioned way of actually writing code. So let's import the global wallet extension, and in the wallet connectors, let's add a global wallet connector. Right? I should be good. Let's hope for the best. No. Oh. Okay. I will skip this part given we have like 5 minutes. But the idea is that hopefully with a few lines of code, again, not in this case, clearly this didn't work, but you should be able to, with a few lines of code, not just have the wallet siloed, 5 minutes, perfect. So not just have the wallet siloed, but have the ability to connect to any other site, add signing of transactions, signing of messages, pretty much whatever your heart desires. If you take nothing else away from this kind of presentation, you should take that Dynamic is an extremely flexible tool. It can be front and center. It can be very much in the background. If you want to build a game, it can happen kind of silent signing. If you're building a DeFi app and you need MFA, you can turn on Google Authenticator or passkeys for additional security. Anything you need, assume we can do, right? So let's summarize that real quick. So I'll show a slideshow real quick. So again, we saw DFlow already. A second app, if you want to play around with Dynamic, is Bags. If you're trading meme coins, check out Bags. You can very quickly kind of trade. Bags.fm is another good example of using Dynamic. And with this, I want to end with the following, and you can come to our booth as well, and we have guides. Here's the best way to get started with Dynamic. You can just scan a QR code for our docs. I'm willing to bet it's going to take you 5 minutes or less to actually set up. We have a few cool features that might be relevant for you in case you want to explore them. So I showed silent signing, so sign messages with no pop-ups. That's behind the feature flag. If you want that experience of session keys, of kind of you log in and there's no 2FA, reach out to us. Just come to our booth with your environment ID. We'll turn that on. Again, if you want another feature that we have, which I think is pretty awesome, I'm very biased, is a feature called Telegram Auto Wallets. So if you're building a mini app in Telegram, we can take the login information from Telegram and auto log you in and generate a wallet. So as soon as the Telegram mini app shows up, it will just log you in. You want that access to that, come to our booth, give us your environment ID, and we can take it from there. We have a bunch of prizes. I will end with one thing, and then we'll go on to questions. Shameless ask for my marketing team. Please follow us on Twitter. I will give everyone a second to QR code scan this. I've been told that that's the primary reason for why I'm doing this presentation by my marketing team. So I have no choice but to ask everyone to shamelessly follow us. And with that, I will open it up for questions. Any questions about Dynamic? Yes. 1 second, I couldn't hear you.
Do you have SDKs for Unity? You were talking about games.
Yeah, that's a great question. Not yet. I wish I could give you a Unity access very, very soon. Today, the SDKs we have is React, React Native, Flutter, as well as access, I think, alpha access to Vanilla.js.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. But that is a very good ask, and yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Or no questions? Yeah. Yes.
Hi. Do you integrate with push for like notifications?
Yeah, not directly, but my understanding from experience and what I've seen people do is they integrate it very, very quickly together. Because technically it's a regular wallet, and you can do a bunch of stuff with it. You can add ENS, you can add push, like all that type of stuff. So not directly, but if you run into any issues with the integration, come to our booth. We have engineers to help.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Oh, I'm done? Okay.
I have one more question. Sorry. For the EVM chains, do you have Circuit also?
Yeah, so EVM, that's a great question. I'll end with this. I'm sorry. EVM, and I'll answer your question after. The short version, any EVM chain you can integrate. It's either on our dashboard, or if you can't find it on our dashboard, go to our docs and look up custom EVM networks. You can add any EVM chain you want. So if it's EVM, should be good to go. Okay, very cool. Thank you guys so much.